Anthropic just released Claude Cowork, and it's genuinely different than every AI tool you've ever used. Instead of just answering your questions or writing stuff for you, this thing can actually see your screen, control your mouse, and execute tasks across your entire computer. That's why I'm going to show you what Claude Cowork actually is, how to activate it, and then I'm going to walk you through multiple real use cases across different workflows like content creation, business operations, all of the things I've been trying for the last 3 days, and trust me, I've been obsessed with it. And even though it is kind of just Claude code with a beautiful UI, it's life-changing for people that have never used Claude Code or don't know how to. So if you're not technical, this is going to be life-changing for you. Plus, I'm going to show you the skills feature where you literally teach the AI how you work and it can replicate your workflow. So if you watch this video till the end, you're going to know exactly how to automate hours of repetitive work every single week. Like, this is going to save me at least 30 hours a week. And I have 2 virtual assistants. I might only need 1 by the end of this. So before we get into it, remember to subscribe for future tech videos and leave a comment below on what your favorite use case was. The last one is a little unhinged, but I promise you there's so much you can do with this. I'm probably going to make a part 2. And I also want to show you how to set up ClaudeBot, because I've actually been using ClaudeBot for a lot longer, and even running my own brain that I created in Claude YOLO mode and has access to my desktop, Gmail, WhatsApp, absolutely everything. But for newbies that haven't really used these kinds of AI agents before, I think this is going to blow your mind. Let's get into it. So what actually is Claude Cowork and how can you access it? So Anthropic built this computer use API that lets AI control your computer, and they just made it accessible to everyone through the desktop app. So basically, they gave Claude eyes and hands. You know, usually how you interact with AI is through a chat window, but now it can actually move your mouse, type on your keyboard, open apps, access your files, run entire workflows from start to finish. It's even talking to my WhatsApp, my Gmail, my Notion, absolutely everything. As a simple example, before I would say, how do I organize these files? Now it actually can go and organize them for you. That's one of the best tasks that you can start with. And so if you want to use Claude Cowork, before you needed the max subscription, so the $100 or $200 a month plan, and you just have to download the desktop app. But actually, they made it accessible to Claude Pro users as well. So I don't know who's paying for all this inference, but you can access it, and it's such a steal. So I highly recommend that you try it. This is not sponsored or anything, but I have the max plan because I'm just using it so much. And if you are on the free plan, you can also join the waitlist. But yeah, right now, Max or Pro. So I've actually been using this GitHub repo, ClaudeBot, super easy to set up. So I've been technically doing Claude Cowork for a little bit longer. I'm using it from WhatsApp though. I'm going to make a whole separate video on this because ClaudeBot is absolutely life-changing for me. Like, I can just vibe code 10 apps while I'm on a walk. It's really crazy. But for the purposes of this video, let's get Claude Cowork. So now instead of just chatting, we can co-work. So we have access to everything. And honestly, I already feel like 10 times more productive doing this. First of all, you need a Claude account. As you can see, I got Claude over here, but we will need the desktop app. So to get the desktop app, download Claude desktop. So yeah, all you got to do is download Claude. I'm going to get it for Mac, and then we just got to install it. But I already got it over here. So here it is. As you can see, I've been playing around with a lot of different use cases over here. So I'm going to walk you through all the things I've used it for, as well as some use cases that you might find useful. But first, let's start from scratch and see the kinds of things we can do. So create a file, crunch data, make a prototype, organize files, prep for a meeting, and draft a message. Those are like pretty generic use cases if you ask me. So I'm going to show you some much cooler things you can do. But let's start with organizing files. This is the most standard use case you can start with. And I'm not going to lie, before doing this, this is what my desktop looks like now. We have footage of what it looked like before. This is what my desktop looked like before. It was pretty bad. Now that it's a little bit messier, even just after 3 days, we're gonna say organize and tidy up my desktop. And it auto-filled ask any clarifying questions and share a plan of how you'll approach this task. I'm just gonna leave that there. and we will give it access to everything. So when you ask a task and you ask it to approach it as a plan, you're gonna get these clarifying menu options, which I love. I think this is so cool. And so basically this is a UI for people to use Claude Code. Like, Claude Code is super powerful. I have been obsessed with Claude Code for the last few weeks, and whenever I'm not Claude coding, I actually get anxiety. So now people that don't code can access Claude Code through a nice UI. That's basically what Cowork is. And I've done some sketchy things. So I used Claude Code to set up a Brain personal assistant, which is essentially what this is. I had to give Claude root permissions to my entire computer, which is okay because this is a factory reset computer. Nothing can go, terribly wrong, but I wouldn't recommend a normal person to do that. Like, that's probably a really bad idea. And I'm very happy that they have a turnkey solution for everybody to have access to something like a safer version of what you can build with Claude running YOLO dangerous permissions. Because we asked for clarification, we can now, what does tidy up mean? I kind of want all of these things. We want to sort into folders and delete unused files. So we're going to say both. We want it organized by project topic and organize everything. And then it sends it as a request to Claude. So it gives you a little plan, and we have to give it access to things. So the nice thing is that it asks for permissions all the time. And if you're wondering how this works for security, it runs in Ubuntu with Apple's virtualization framework. So this is for the Mac version. And it does have PID isolation. So that means it can't access like everything on your laptop, but there are known unresolved vulnerabilities, and the prompt injection risk is real. So like when I did my sketchy YOLO mode Claude setup, I was really scared of prompt injections. Anthropic hasn't fully solved this yet. They're like monitoring it. So, be careful. Don't run Claude code in YOLO mode unless you know what you're doing or unless you don't care about the consequences. You can accidentally, grant access to malicious instructions, or there's real security risks here. But for Claude Cowork, it seems to be pretty safe. They did also build this entire Claude Coworker feature in 2 weeks using Claude Code. So I'm not sure exactly how secure it is. Just use it at your own risk. And I am pretty sure they built it because ClaudeBot came out. I'm gonna make another video on ClaudeBot because it's my new obsession and it's amazing. I'm gonna leave a link in the description below if you wanna check it out and set it up. But it is a little bit harder to set up. I mean, this is just you download an app and it's working. ClaudeBot, you have to set it up. But the cool part is you can ask Claude Code to set up ClaudeBot. So it's a lot easier than you think. So the plan is it's gonna give me my current state, observations. We've already cleaned it up before using Claude Coworker, so it's just proposing some pretty, not anything too crazy. Let's just say yes to this plan. And we can actually watch it do it in real time. So because it has access to my desktop, it's going to start moving these files. And this is obviously something you can do, like if you know how to use the terminal. It's quite literally just making simple terminal commands like MV. It's gonna move, for example, these files. Oh, we can see what it ran. Using bash. There you go. We can see it ran view steps. Oh, it actually gave me the bash commands last time it did it. But anyway, it just ran like MV girl math project folder, create blah, blah, blah. So that's basically what it's doing. It's pretty cool and quite simple. But yeah, if your desktop looked like mine, complete chaos with hundreds of random files everywhere, Claude can literally fix that in seconds. You just open Coworker, say, organize my desktop. That's it. No instructions on how to categorize things. You can just, press some menu option buttons, and then it just organizes it in under a minute. And the cool part is that once Claude organizes your files, it actually remembers where everything is. So later I can say, find my brand assets, and it knows where to look. So this becomes your file system assistant that actually understands your structure as well. Now, second use case is presentations. So this is slightly more complex, but let's say I need to create a presentation about my tech unicorn company with our colors, logos, and all that. So usually this would take forever. Now I can just tell Claude Cowork to do it, and I say, go into my AI agents folder and take my brand colors, create Google Slides presentations using that based on my AI keynote from last week, or anything like that. So it can create your entire presentations using assets that are on your desktop. It just can ask you a few questions along the way, like what's the audience, how many slides, and then generates your whole deck. So pro tip, tell Claude to use Slides Dev before exporting to Google Slides because it creates better structure and handles your assets more reliably. But anyway, this 90-minute task is now 5 minutes. Now, my use case that's going to save me hundreds of hours, honestly, is repurposing social media. So I constantly repurpose my videos. It is exhausting to be on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Threads, Blue Sky, YouTube, like everything. You can use Claude Cowork to repurpose all your content. It can even edit videos. Like, it's actually crazy. I asked it to edit a 33-minute video of my AI panel in Dubai a few days ago. I uploaded it 33 minutes and it recognized that I was the woman with the red hair and took clips of me talking on the AI panel and created a shorter version for Instagram. Like, it can edit your videos. Everyone will be out of a job soon, sorry, just saying. Though there are also many problems with it, so I'm obviously exaggerating. You're not out of a job, I'm just kidding, don't worry. But kind of crazy how you can do so much with it. So let me just show you some of the things I did that are social media related. So for example, I literally uploaded photos from my desktop. I uploaded like 15 photos into Claude Cowork and asked it to draft captions for a developer entrepreneur audience. And it literally went through, and as you can see, viral Twitter captions. I'm really not on Twitter, so if you see me on Twitter, it's not me, it's actually Claude Coworker doing it. And these aren't bad, you know, the Wi-Fi at tech conferences, greater than therapy, shipping code my day, collecting swag by night. Honestly, they're a little cringe and they need editing, but still pretty cool that I can just mass upload a bunch of photos and then they can get automatically scheduled. So I asked it to do Metricool, which it wasn't able to do yet because of an auth issue, but you know, it vibe coded for me instead. Oh, as you can see here. Open. Okay, another video I'm gonna make is about Ralph. This is too much to include in this video, but basically when you're talking to LLMs, they basically need to sometimes compact your conversations because otherwise it's gonna use a crazy amount of tokens. And Ralph sort of solves this problem in a very interesting way. We're gonna talk about that in a different video, but that's what it's doing over here. And it's only because I've been talking to it for so long in this particular thread. But look at this. It has access to Canva. It has all of these different connections that it can use. So I have connected it to my Canva, my Notion, my Google Calendar, my Google Drive, my Gmail. It can even message people on WhatsApp. It can message people, well, this one can't message people on iMessage yet. The other one I have set up can. But anyway, it has access to everything. So for social media, I can literally tell it to edit my social media posts in Canva. So I gave it a Canva link over here and it quite literally improved it. Okay, don't judge me, this is not the final product, but yeah, all it does is that it'll ask for permissions all the time. So Claude wants to navigate to localhost, always allow. That's my task that is building a web app right now. The other amazing thing is that you can run multiple tasks at the same time. All of this can be in parallel. So I am running right now, scheduling viral Twitter posts, organizing and cleaning up my desktop, creating a website, and improving a carousel post in Canva all at the same time. So obviously this uses a lot of inference, but it's not gonna last forever. So keep that in mind that, you know, it's not unlimited, but right now it almost is. Like, it's very hard to reach the limits. And even when you do, the limits re-up in like 2 hours. It's kind of insane. I'm not sure who's paying for this. Other things that I used it for, you can organize and rescript reels. So I literally gave it a saved reels folder and asked it to take it and then rescript them and add them directly to my Notion. So absolutely insane use cases if you're a content creator or a business owner or somebody that, you know, uses Notion even. It's absolutely insane the kind of things you can do with it. Now, one of my favorite use cases is that you can upload entire WhatsApp conversations to it. So for example, I have WhatsApp conversations with 2 of my virtual assistants. I ask them to do a lot of things. It gets lost really easily. But now because I have a Notion connection, I can upload an entire conversation and say, extract all of the tasks out of this conversation, put them in a Kanban board. In this thread, I have literally given Claude Coworker my WhatsApp conversation with my virtual assistant and asked it to put in a Notion page. Obviously, I prompted it a little bit longer to create a better version, but now I essentially have this beautiful Kanban board. This is all created by Claude Coworker. I did not touch this at all. I just uploaded my WhatsApp conversations with my 2 virtual assistants, and now we have this beautiful overview of tasks. Dr. H is one of my assistants and Gia is the other. And then I also have them each with their own Kanban boards where it's like started, in progress, done. And then Gia's board is over here. I haven't even touched this. Obviously, I'm going to improve it, but it's kind of insane that it created all of this from a WhatsApp conversation. The cool part about this is it will allow people to vibe code so much better. So another thing I did is from a WhatsApp conversation with one of my friends, like I have a friend that we are just coming up with AI B2B SaaS ideas constantly. And I was like, okay, here's our conversation. Take all the AI B2B SaaS ideas, actually create all of them. So you can give it a list of multiple things to do. I gave it multiple lists of apps to create, then create a website where I can see all of these AI B2B SaaS ideas. And here's what we have. So we have Doc Agent. This is our first AI B2B SaaS. We got Creator Pay. We got all of these. And this was all created just from a few prompts. I also asked it to create my website because it's been long overdue to have a new website. So this is the thread where I asked it to create a new website. I did have to go back and forth with it a little bit. I uploaded photos for it to use. And then here is our website. This has been remade several times. I'm gonna remake it again. But still, I think honestly for a few prompts, it did a pretty good job. It did a pretty good job. And then when you say get in touch, you can email me. Not bad for just a few prompts. A really cool use case for people that don't have a virtual assistant, I usually ask my VA to find me hair appointments. Like next week, I'm gonna be in Cape Town and I wanna find a salon. Look at this, find a salon in Cape Town, and it has messaged people on WhatsApp with my desires. This is actually crazy. You can use this to book your appointments. You can use this to find hotels. I mean, obviously all of the AI books my travel stuff. Some funnier use cases. I asked it for ideas on how to get approved for Raya. I think that one's a little bit of an unhinged use case. I don't know how many people that's gonna help, but it can message people on LinkedIn on your behalf. It has emailed people on my behalf already. And the use case that I'm gonna try, and if this works, I'm gonna make an entire video about it, is you can create an entire content repurposing system, like a waterfall approach, where it can go through all of my Instagram reels and repurpose that into LinkedIn posts, Substack articles, everything. And it can run this multiple times a day. So you can actually generate content based on AI news like this. It can have absolutely insane use cases. The world is your oyster with this. Okay, so I have this girl math video. So we can say, edit this video to be more viral. Or, you can get more specific, but let's do this just out of curiosity. So the crazy part is that it can actually fully understand what you want and make edits to videos. I'm not sure how Adobe and all these other video editing platforms are going to compete when people start doing this. Obviously, inference isn't free forever, and this is going to take up a lot of tokens, but still, it's pretty cool that you can do this, because up until now, Gemini has been the only model where you can actually upload videos, and that's the only one I've been using because of that. But now, you can do it in Claude Cowork. Very cool, and you can also edit them. So honestly, one of my favorite use cases is editing videos. It's really crazy that you can do that. I have a team of editors, and honestly, for really simple edits, this does a really great job. So as you can see, I asked it something super vague, edit this to be more viral. But I see that such good use cases for repurposing content here. So I can, upload one video and then it can edit it in a different style for LinkedIn, different style for TikTok, different style for YouTube Shorts, because they do all require a different style. So let's see what it gives us. So yeah, if you finish a YouTube video and you want to create, a fast-paced preview clip for stories, then the manual process is super painful. You have to import the video, trim it down, speed it up, add the audio effect, change the aspect ratio. It's at least 30 minutes of tedious editing, but you can just say, turn this into a LinkedIn lead magnet, and it can do everything, change the aspect ratio, and export it. Like, it's actually pretty insane that it can do this. And it can even post it to LinkedIn if you tell it to post it LinkedIn and give it all the permissions. Obviously, it can't schedule them yet, but probably in the future. Now, more business related use cases, data collection and analysis. So I can see people using this as, you know, if you're a business owner and let's say you need to pull metrics from your analytics dashboard, like post-hog, you know, which is notoriously complicated to navigate, you can collect your daily average users and create a Google Sheet so you can analyze trends. I don't know how data analysts are going to compete with this because Claude can actually log into PostHog. It can navigate the interface like a human would and then find your metrics, download CSV data, and create properly formatted spreadsheets. You can even ask it questions like, say, I don't understand this, tell me the general trends and what I should look out for, and it can analyze the data, create visualizations, and identify patterns. Now, the most generic use case is emails. So if you're not using Superhuman or Gmail's AI features, this is awesome because this will save you hours a week. Like, Claude can handle all of your administrative emails. So you can say, go through my inbox from the last 3 days, delete all promotional emails from brands that I never purchased from any client emails, and summarize the key points. Claude's web version was already able to do this, but I do find that this can log into multiple Gmail accounts, so that's kind of cool. And you can have it draft your follow-up emails based on previous conversations. It can schedule meetings and anything that involves, you know, moving information between other tools. So what I'm excited to try this for, and it's a bit of a more complex workflow, is I want to take all of my like brand deals from emails and automatically change my content calendar in Notion based on my emails. That is one thing that I'm going to try. I haven't tried it yet. You know, just giving you ideas for really complex workflows that you can try. Now, the coolest use case is that you can batch process things with custom skills. So this is my favorite advanced feature. Let's say you have a spreadsheet with 50 image prompts for a client project, and you have to manually generate each one, copy the prompt, go to the generator, rinse, repeat, and this would take hours. So for me personally, my use case is I want to email a bunch of conferences because I get paid to go to conferences, and you know, sometimes they don't reach out to me, I gotta reach out to them. And so I can just go through a list of conferences that I wanna go to and say, hey, go to their website, reach out, and email each of these companies, or even go to their LinkedIn profiles of the head of marketing at this company. And it can just automatically do all of this. So let me show you that one for example. All right, so I have this page of Where's Delia. I know, don't judge me. This is generally what I know about my schedule until May. So let's say that I'm doing this. Oh yeah, I'm going to Davos tomorrow. So let's say I give it this and say, help me find accommodation and organize myself for these upcoming trips and find flights. You know, general travel use case. And one of its built-in use case examples is prepping for a meeting. So actually I used this to prep for a meeting yesterday, and I don't want to, you know, give away some PII, but it can access your email so you can prepare for your meetings. It can go to the company website if you're having a meeting with a company. Pretty cool stuff. And you can even say, look at my calendar for tomorrow, and for each meeting, pull up the relevant client files, create a one-page brief with who they are, what we discussed last time, and 3 talking points. And Claude goes through your calendar, finds the meetings, accesses the files and emails, and generates a prep document for your entire day. So that kind of prep takes, you know, people hours sometimes. Now it's done in minutes with AI. So super cool. So the trip, what's your typical budget? Let's be cheap. We like Airbnbs. We could have said business. And first leg, oh no, that is from Malaga. So let's see how good it is at doing travel itineraries. But anyway, the really cool use case for me is I can tell it my itinerary and be like, go to the conference websites for the conferences mentioned here and and give me a list of brands that I can reach out to, and start reaching out to the PR team of those brands to pitch a sponsorship. Basically, you can do stuff like this. And I actually have used Atlas and other AI agents for this before, but this one's really cool because it can also access your desktop and like your actual computer files and customize things a lot more. So media content, tech companies, and travel. Draft emails. So it can literally draft emails on my behalf. Like, this is life-changing. You know, this is gonna save my VA 20 hours a week probably. Obviously, adapt these to your own use cases, but this is super cool. And now, if you wanna get real hardcore, you can teach it skills. So if we go back to settings here, we can do connectors to all of these different things. So we got Google Drive, Gmail, Google Calendar, Canva, Kiwi for travel, Notion, obviously. We can also get GitHub and Hugging Face on here. Like, this is super cool. Obviously, this all uses MCP. This is why MCP is so powerful. It's what allows your AI agents to talk to the different applications. But yeah, now we have this thing called capabilities. So capabilities, we have memory turned on, we have artifacts, so, you know, like code snippets, text documents, things like that. But now we have skills. So these are repeatable, customizable instructions that Claude can follow. So here are some example skills. You can give it brand guidelines, you can give it canvas design, skill creator, so you can actually create your own skills. Ooh, web artifacts. That's cool. Yeah, so if we turn on these skills, our Claude Coworker can even use these skills. It's like super powerful and probably needs to be its own video. So here's what I wish someone told me before I started using all of this. First off, tell Claude exactly where to put stuff. So don't just say, analyze this data. Say, analyze this data and put it in a Google Sheet with charts in my Q1 reports folder. Because otherwise, everything's gonna get lost everywhere and you'll spend 10 minutes hunting for where you saved things. The more specific you are, the better outcome you're gonna get. Second is install the desktop extension. You're also going to need the web browser extension to do anything in the web browser. Third is obviously stack multiple tasks. So I was really just running 5 tasks at once all of the time. So you can have it pulling data analytics while it's editing a video, while it's looking for travel accommodations, while it's emailing people. Next is front load your context. So if you're going to be creating branded stuff, for example, give Claude your brand kit once at the beginning so that it can just use that context for everything without you repeating yourself all the time. And finally, don't go crazy on day one, you know, like combine tasks and build up your complexity as you grow. Because if you have a 15-step workflow that you're trying to give it, it's probably gonna crash. It has crashed on me several times already. Finally, I don't know if it's just me and I'm ADHD, but I don't know if I need to say this tip, but watch it work the first few times. Like, especially when you're accessing files or controlling the browser, watch what it does initially and make sure that it's accessing the right data, clicking the right buttons. And then once you trust it, you know, then you can let it run in the background. But for example, when it was cleaning my desktop, one of the permissions it asked for was to delete files. And I was like, no, you can only delete like empty folders. And you have to tell it these things because it's just going to assume that it can do things otherwise. You do have to say yes to them, but just make sure you read everything. Honestly, I think this is a steal for even the $100 or $200 a month plan. It's such a steal to be able to do all of this stuff. Let me know below what you think. If you're a freelancer or just getting started or bootstrapping, I guess that can be a little bit expensive, but I think about it as your time is worth more than $25 an hour, and this saves you 4 hours per month, so the math works, right? What sucks right now is that it's only on Macs, so if you're using Windows, you're gonna be on a wait list, and that's frustrating. Honestly, I don't know why they didn't launch both at once, but it is what it is. Also, keep in mind, it's still in beta, and Anthropic calls it a research preview, which is corporate speak for this might break, there might be malware, like we don't really know. And Anthropic is very clear, don't give it access to your sensitive files. You are responsible for anything it does, and make sure that you monitor it for weird behavior, because it is not a polished product yet. And finally, this is gonna eat through your usage real fast. So if you're running big tasks like uploading 33-minute videos or processing hundreds of files or doing complex data analysis, you need to be smart of how you use Coworker versus when you just use Claude, because it does burn through your max plan limits quicker than a regular chat. So keep that in mind. My final thoughts are that Claude Cowork, even though there is a lot of additional work to be done, like, do I think it can fully replace me and get a job done from start to finish without any oversight? Not really. I still need to review what it does. I do need to tweak things here and there and prompt it more. But I do think for $100 or $200 a month, and especially if you're on the pro plan for less than that, this is an absolute steal and a game changer for regular people that just want to automate like dozens of hours of things that, they're doing manually. So yeah, you can vibe code apps easier. You can do your emails. You can plan travel. Like, the use cases are endless, and I'm really excited to see what people come up with using this. I'm really excited to show you ClaudeBot too, which is even more powerful. I'm going to show you ClaudeBot in one of the next videos. Let me know what you think. Would you pay $100 to $200 a month for this? I don't think this is going to last forever. I do think it's going to get more expensive. So I don't know. Get it while you can, and let me know your cool use cases below. I'll share some more of mine on Instagram, so make sure you go over there. As always, remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and all that good stuff for the algorithm, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!